What about me?
So, yeah, man, Paul Putiri, the one and only. It's been a long time coming. Finally got this podcast up. It's been talking about this for weeks.
Yes.
Everyone's giving me a bunch of crap for not having an episode up yet, so here we are, episode 1. Dude, so what's going on? We got a lot of firearms on this table right now.
Yeah, 3 whole firearms. This is the Beretta that I've always used, that I've always had. I really like 9mm, and I like the Beretta design. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the military is actually using, and you might train with this in training, because this is a Beretta M9,
right?
And the military's been using this since the 80s. But the Army was the first one to do this, is they switched over to the 6-hour P320.
Okay.
Also a 9mm, a great gun, and I think they're right for doing that. I'm gonna miss the M9. I mean, I think this is a great design for a couple of reasons. This open slide design, since there's no metal going, you see how the slide is open.
Yeah,
you can
smooth
see the barrel.
too.
So the reason for that is because it ejects the shell, and there's no other metal to kind of get in the way of jamming it. And also, dirt can get in there, and dirt can get in here, where the double action hammer is, and that can restrict fire. So if you're like in a really dusty, dirty environment, it might hurt you that way. So that's why they're moving to striker fire.
I was going to say, for that reason, you might want striker fire.
The military is preferring stuff like that.
Now, the longest running handgun, or I should say sidearm for military, has been the 1911, right? Wasn't that the longest running for military use?
Yeah, I don't think they use that. I don't think they use that anymore.
No.
Yeah,
I think that was the longest running gun.
They did. They used it until the 80s, and then it was replaced by this, and now they're replacing it with the 6-hour P320, which is a striker fired.
All great guns. I mean, it's hard to go wrong. All super reliable.
Yeah, they're all great. I mean, everybody is so obsessed with finding which little feature is going to give me this great advantage. It's not really like that. If you look at the data, I mean, military data is different, but for civilian data and when shootings occur, we talked about this last time, but the FBI records all shootings across America, and they collect this massive amount of data, and they found that the victor is usually using 9mm, so the industry is really going 9mm, whether it's concealed or for police or anything, or even military. FBI data has really been useful for that, and they also found that I forget what. See, this is why we're writing stuff down. But yeah.
But let me tell you something, man. This is why I went with this 9mm here. This this SAR 9. I know we talked about this a little bit. It's a Turkish gun. And when you talk about firearms, there's not a whole lot coming out of Turkey. But I chose this because Turkey, they did a 90,000 round comparison against Glock, H&K.
Yeah.
I believe the Beretta M9, 90,000 round, and they chose this for their military. So it really intrigued me, especially for a $500 handgun. 2 magazines, case, cleaning kit. It's very affordable gun. Striker fire.
The striker fire design is could be a better design for combat. It's a really good design.
Yeah, right. Take some of that risk out of it, like you said, without without having the hammer fire. Sometimes you get jammed up, you get dirt. This is a lot cleaner of a fire method.
For civilians, I don't think that matters as much. But I think in wartime, I think that they're more likely to be in really dirty environments where you don't want grit in these tight tolerance pistols, where a little piece of sand somewhere can prevent the gun from firing. Yeah, so striker fire is really good that way. But what I was trying to say before is that the average self-defense shooting only takes 3 rounds. So I remember we went on a state one time, and we went to to Sunset Hill shooting range. I know you love that place so much.
That place is the worst shooting range I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah. Yeah,
that place sucks.
And I remember seeing a guy there that had a 1911 on his hip, and everybody today would probably be like, "Oh my gosh, this is 1911.
Yeah,
only holding 7 rounds, 45 ACP. The data doesn't support that." But he's not wrong for only having 7 rounds, because the average, according to FBI, the average self-defense shooting only takes 3 rounds. Which is interesting. I still want to carry an extra 10 rounds.
So being in Jersey, being restricted down to 10 sucks, but you're probably not going to need 10 when you're talking about a self-defense.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard about this, but this has been going on for a while, that the Supreme Court, some guy in New York challenged something, and it's in the Supreme Court now, where the Supreme Court is going to decide whether the Second Amendment means that you can carry your guns outside of your home. Wow. Different states have different interpretations of that. In New York, concealed carry is denied for the average citizen. In New Jersey, you might be able to get it, but only if you're an armored car carrier.
Yeah, Jersey's tough.
Jersey's really tough. Texas, you don't need anything. You can just go there with
you
your
don't
New
even
Jersey license and not even be a Texas resident and carry.
You don't
anyway.
even need a license or any type of permit. Nothing. You could just have it on your hip.
But anyway, the Supreme Court is they're actually going to vote on that, on whether or not that's what the Second Amendment means, is that you can.
That's huge.
You can carry outside your home. And here's the thing: is that what's cool is that I think the states will interpret that instead of interpreting the Second Amendment directly. So
absolutely,
they'll interpret that, and some states will be like, all right, well, we already have constitutional carry, so that doesn't really apply to us, like Texas.
Right,
is an example of
that.
But in New Jersey, I think there will still be some kind of permitting process. Is this yours, or is it, which one of these is yours?
I'll take one of those. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You're the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is my Beretta M9, and I mean. I think 9mm is a great cartridge. It's powerful enough to kill. I mean, there wasn't a lot of data behind it in the 80s. In the 80s, the data suggested that the Victor is more often using 40 Smith & Wesson and 357 Magnum were found to be the best.
357 Magnum.
Yeah, but that's before the era of that hollow point technology really got advanced.
Revolvers were still hanging around a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think they still are, because it's such an amount of horsepower in these little tiny 357 Magnums that it's way more horsepower than a pistol that's the same size.
Right.
And it's fun. It's a great backup gun.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I heard one time is that if, say, someone's on top of you, and this is unloaded, by the way, right?
Yep.
Before, because I already checked it, but I just want to check it on camera.
Sure, gun safety, man.
Is a revolver makes an excellent like secondary kind of like go-to, like a backup gun. And the reason for that, say someone's on top of you, and you push this into them. When you push this into them, you see how this is out of battery.
Yep.
You'll pull the trigger and nothing will happen. So with revolver, that's not the case. Revolver, all that cylinder just has to rotate.
You have a lot of advantages with a revolver. No matter what happens, sand, mud, when you pull that trigger, that cylinder is going to turn. That hammer is going to come back. As long as that primer, it's going to fire.
Exactly. As long as it's from some reputable kind of company.
You can't have some knockoff, Chinese knockoff. I think 9mm is almost always the way to go. Like you said, like we talked about last time too, it's not about ballistics. You know what I mean? Like we'd all be carrying around 50 caliber, and you know what I mean. 9mm is the best. I think you can shoot it quickly and accurately. There's a really good drill that I was gonna wait and make a video at the range, but it's called the 5.5.5.5 drill.
I have heard of this. I forget what it is.
So it's 4 different implements of the number 5. So when you get to the range, your gun's on your hip, right? Unloaded. We all see this. You have your gun on your hip. You get to the range. You have 5 seconds to draw your firearm, shoot 5 times in a 5-inch grouping at 5 yards. And it's a very simple concept, right? But
that would mean you're like kind of proficient with that gun.
9 and 10 police officers can't execute that drill. As simple as that sounds. So think about that. 5 seconds to shoot 5 times in a 5-inch circle at 5 yards. It's a self-defense drill. Now, another good practice is when drawing your firearm, I like to put my left hand on my chest. This is a really great practice that I saw somebody do. I forget who it was, or I'll give him credit. But as you're reaching for your firearm on your right or left hip, your opposite hand goes on your chest. So now, as I draw, my hand is already halfway up my body to just now meet the firearm. This is also great for when you're in a self-defense standpoint. Your hand's already here to do a block, to do a strike. So it's a really good practice as you reach for your firearm to also bring your other hand up to your chest, and now you can meet the firearm.
Here's the thing: you could use that hand to also keep the person away from you while you
give
draw
yourself
here.
Some distance too.
And a lot of people want to like shoot like this, but if I can keep somebody at bay with this and then shoot down from
almost a hip fire
from the hip fire, if at this distance you should be hitting the person.
So that's a really good practice. Whenever you draw your firearm, the opposite hand goes up to your chest automatically.
That's a great idea.
And that drill is great for anybody listening. I mean, for a home defense drill, that's good to just kind of practice anytime you go to the range. And you're only using 5 bullets at a time. You could do 2 drills per mag if you're limited to the Jersey 10 round. Yeah, and it's a great drill. But
absolutely. I mean, you were talking about stress for police officers. The 5.5 drill. I mean, in a real shooting scenario, I mean, it's so much different than it is on the range. So, and a big factor of that is stress.
Absolutely.
And I've seen cops that are they'll be getting shot at, unfortunately, and they will either. I've seen police officers hit somebody at like 30 yards, center mass, and drop the person immediately. And I've seen people at point blank be spraying bullets and hitting nothing. So I think that stress plays a part in that as well.
Yeah, I think a problem with this police brutality is like a lot of these cops, like there's not enough training being done. There needs to be a lot more training for these police officers.
We can fix that by not funding their training.
Well, that's the thing. Like instead of defunding the police to where it actually gets worse and there's less training and they have less experience and knowledge in how to handle these high stress situations, and then they mess up. And then these horrible murders happen, et cetera. We should be funding the police, and they should be doing way more training. They only have to requalify. I believe it's once a year with their firearm. I mean, every month I'd be at the range. You carry this every day like a tool. This should be,
dude. If ammo wasn't as expensive as it is right now,
Yeah.
I would be shooting way more than I currently do. That's one thing that I should.
Yeah, we're limited right now.
It is becoming more available. Just so you know, it's not impossible to find 9mm anymore. There are sites online. There's a guy on YouTube called Mr. Big Kid. He's a shooter. He's a shooting channel, and God bless this guy. But one of the things he does is he just hunts for ammo deals, and there's companies all the time online that you would have to pay for tax and shipping. Obviously, you have to pay for tax, but you'd have to pay for shipping. And they'll sell cases of 9mm, like 1,000 rounds of 9mm for the price comes out to like after you buy 1,000 rounds, I think it's like $18 or a little bit less than $18 for 15 rounds. I mean, it's cheap stuff, but it's not steel cased. It's brass cased, 115 grain range ammunition. And that's all I need for the range.
Yeah,
so,
you don't need to get 9mm FMJ or like all this. You could just get your brass or your steel case. I mean, whatever your gun likes, really, too. I mean,
yeah, it is Full Metal Jacket. It's Full Metal Jacket 9mm.
Oh, that's what it is.
9x19. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, these are both 9mm. This is a Beretta. That's a SAR.
And then what do you got there? Glock.
This is a Glock. This is the only Glock that I own, and it's in 10mm.
It's a Glock 10, right?
Yeah. Well, no. Okay, so this is a big
Glock is crazy, man. They have 200 different numbers for their handguns. Glock 20,
they
Glock
have
18, 19.
They have a lot of different numbers. So people will make the mistakes and be like, "Oh, this is a Glock 10. That is a Glock 40." They don't know what they're saying. So this is a 10mm, but it's not a Glock 10. Glock makes 3 different 10mm. They're both pretty much the same. Some of them have shorter grips, shorter, longer slides. But the number that this is designated with is 20. This is a Glock 20. See how it says 20?
Yep, gotcha.
20 right there. Gabe has a Glock 19. It's not chambered in 19 caliber. It's chambered in 9mm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's what that means, because I've heard people
you gotta
say
thoroughly study Glocks to know what you're talking about for handguns.
To remember all the numbers.
So many.
I remember some of the numbers, like 17, 19, 26 are 9mm. 43, I think, might be a 9mm. That's a real small one. The 40 is a long slide. The 40 is a long slide 10mm. If I thought about it more, I'd remember it. The 20 is a 40 Smith & Wesson. The 21 is a 45.
But back to the 9mm debate is, out of those two handguns you have there, I know your Beretta is your home defense gun, right? That's your choice?
Yeah, this is normally what I go with because I've shot it more than anything else, and it fits in it fits.
It's a little bit of a smaller gun, right? The Glock is like a very square slide.
It's square. Their 19 isn't as bulky. I do kind of like the slimmer grip. I can hold on to this, but I just prefer like the better ergonomics of the pistols. Like your SAR has amazing ergonomics.
That's not bad. Yeah, the grip on that's pretty good.
Yeah,
like
this is amazing for me.
That's a great starter pistol too. What I love about that is not only does back grip does it come with, but it comes with both side grips. You can change all of that out. The entire grip you can change, rear, sides. It's got a nice cleaning kit, 2 magazines. It's great for $500. That's a great gun to have. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
these
I didn't know anything
plastic
about it.
these plastic fantastics. I mean, they really know what they're doing.
That's exactly what it is.
This nice little like cutout for your thumb right here. Yeah, and the finger grooves.
It's nice. You got the standard ADS rails. I mean, I know that's not like a big feature, but if you look at neither of your two handguns have it, right? Or does the Glock have it? I can't say.
This I don't know.
It looks
if
like
this
some type of rail.
No, it's probably 80. It's probably the same as yours, right? It just looks a little bit different.
Yeah, you're right.
It probably is. Like yours has these serrations.
That's really what you want for when you talk about home defense. You gotta get a light under that gun.
I know we've been talking about it for a while, but I really want to see you put an OLight, and you can research that on your computer.
Yeah.
OLight PL Mini 2, if you want to see what that looks like. That's OLight makes amazing stuff. I own 2 of their firearms.
About that for a while.
Yeah, it's just like you really get like the quality of any other like really high end manufacturer. They should be our first sponsor.
Oh yeah,
If they start sending you free flashlights, I want some of them.
Oh yeah, I see that. Oh yeah, they're nice.
Yeah,
they're really
Olight
nice.
PL Mini. It's a really tiny little light meant for pistols. You can even use it for carry
Now, is that
guns.
magnetic rechargeable like yours is? I think
Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. 500
It's like the
lumens.
Apple Watch. So you just have that little magnetic disc on the 120 cord that sticks to the. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of companies are using that inductive charging now, which is really cool.
Oh, it's super easy, man.
Yeah, and the laser, they have a light laser combo where it's the light, and then there's a little hole right on the lens of the light, and that's where the laser is internal inside of it. It's not like they're separate next to each other or anything.
Yeah,
The technology has been getting really good in the last
Better and
10
better,
years.
Yes.
I know you held it one time, but we went to Shooter Sporting Center, and they had a 6-hour P365, and it's a 10-round 9mm pistol that feels like it's a single stack gun. Like it's cool. Like 10 years ago, like it took to hold. There were guns this size that were holding 10 rounds.
Crazy.
Dude. Yeah, and it's really the gun industry is getting a lot better. I just want to purchase my 9mm for a reasonable price. That's all I want.
Yeah, we'll see when that happens.
Yeah. We were talking about revolvers before, and while I'm talking about this, if you want to check that camera to make sure it's still running.
Yeah, let's give it a look. See what we got.
Yeah. She shut off on us last time. We're good. We're good. Yeah, we had a real nice talk last time. We were doing really well.
Like shy of 30 minutes, and that thing just decided it didn't want to record anymore, which very unfortunate.
What's the time on that one now? How long?
Honestly, I didn't even look. I just saw
That's
it was
fine.
recording, and
We were talking about revolvers before, and we were talking about like the speed that it takes to reload them and everything. I mean, I know most people aren't like this, but there's a man named Jerry Michalek. He's a shooter for Smith & Wesson, sponsored by Smith & Wesson. And they send him probably as much 9mm and 45 ACP. He shoots all day, every day. That's his job.
It's a pretty sweet job.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can't even match. How much ammo would that guy go through in a day? At least easily 1,000 rounds. You know, he's going through like $400 or $500 worth at the bare minimum.
Every bit of that.
Yeah. But he, I don't know if I've ever shot, but
he's a speed shooter too, isn't he?
Well, that's what he's really known for, and
right.
he can. I think it was a 9mm revolver. When you're shooting with moon clips, you can shoot those rimless casings.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he shot. It was either a 9mm or 45 ACP revolver, and he shot a steel target. I forget how far it was away, but you could hear the rounds hitting hitting the steel, and he shot 6 rounds out of this revolver, unloaded the rounds, loaded 6 more rounds in another moon clip. Close the cylinder, on target, 6 more rounds in 2.99 seconds.
Ridiculous.
That's the world. I think he still holds the world record for that. This is years and years and years
But you don't want to use that for a comparison or an argument that, like, hey, revolvers are quick because, like, that's the best in the world, right?
No, most people won't be like that. But it's just that they're quicker than you think that they would be.
Yeah, with the moon clips. And very important.
Yeah, with the moon clips, they have these special belts that the moon clips stick on. But here's the thing, though, is that those moon clips are flimsy. I feel like those that those rounds could just like pop out. So for a tactical situation, the magazine is just a better option.
Yeah. It's just you drop it out, you put it back in, and if you don't have these restrictions you have another 20 rounds just like that.
20 rounds.
You know what I mean? 18
for,
maybe.
For the Glock 17 or 19, Glock makes factory magazines for the that hold 33 rounds of 9mm. So Gabe's 9mm, he lives in Pennsylvania. He could have a 33 round magazine shipped to his house, and that could be his bedside magazine.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how they stack these now, man. They get so much out of these magazines. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not 33 rounds and something this size.
No,
it does extend like that. Extend that far out of the gun.
But that's still way impressive because that's not even or maybe twice the size, and you're holding 3 times the ammunition. So definitely still really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is how illegal it
Absolutely.
is. we can't have a lot.
Yeah.
We can't have the fun stuff. No bayonets. No
bayonets.
11 round mag.
No bayonets. I don't know if we still need bayonets.
I'm sorry. You can have bayonets. You can't have bayonet lugs.
Okay, which kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm a big knife guy though, man. I love knives. I collect these. This one here, Survivor. I think we agree this is probably a half tang. This would probably be really ridiculous.
It just feels like it is. Yeah, just a nice Bowie knife.
It probably is. Yeah, but you can get these that are like really reasonable now. Knives used to not be like this, but you can get like 440 stainless steel, full tang, 18-inch blade for like $30 now. It's not. These knives have come down a lot. They're nice to have, though. I mean, again, the practicality, unless you're like Survivor Man or Bear Grylls, probably not very much. But
I don't know. I mean, this is I don't know. This is more like I would use this as a machete. I don't know what else.
I take that
use.
hunting with me. I have something similar.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the other one
Oh,
that your
absolutely.
dad gave you?
Yeah, because
that
it's
huge
tough
one?
when you're hunting archery. Like if you run into like a bad situation. Now, in most places I hunt, there's no bear, but God forbid, you need to have something besides just one arrow. You know what I mean? It's kind of like. It's a tricky situation.
Absolutely. To
use
have
this
something
all the
big,
time, especially tracking down.
just
tracking
tape it to the end of a
thorns.
stick or something. If you run out of arrows and you're like lost
But
in
there's
the
a lot
woods.
more practical uses too, like trying to like track an animal. You're going through. You're not just like walking down the deer highway trails. You're crawling through the thorns, through the thicket. I mean, you got to follow wherever that thing ran once you took the shot. It's not very accessible. This helps you a lot. And you want something bigger, like you said, like a machete. You don't want to be pulling out your pocket knife trying to saw thorn branches out. You want to be hacking your way through. I think that's a nice in between a pocket knife and maybe a machete. Because it gives you some distance. And some
So
cutting
if
power.
you encountered a deer that was still alive, how would you dispatch it if you were using bow? Like if you had caught a deer, the deer ran 100 yards, was still alive. What do you do?
Right.
You shoot it with another arrow. Or do you
Yeah, probably with another arrow. See, most good hunters shouldn't have this problem because I want to be a graceful hunter. I want to be a humane hunter. That's one of the advantages is you actually get to take the animal's life in a more humane way than even they take them at the slaughterhouses that are just all over ShopRite that people buy every day. This is actually a better alternative as hunting. So, but if it did come to that, yeah, you would just do another arrow, or if you're hunting shotgun season or rifle season, that's even easier, another quick shot. But yeah, you want to wait after you take your shot at the animal, knowing it's a hit, obviously. You want to wait about an hour or so, because if you start tracking too early, that animal might still be alive, and when you get close to it, it's going to get up and run even further. So once you take that shot, you want to sit in that stand for about a half hour to an hour.
After you shot that fox, you sat in the stand for a while?
I sat there for probably like 20, 30 minutes because that's such a small animal. You know what I mean? With that arrow, I use these Grim Reaper broadheads that put like a 3-inch hole around. So with that little fox, I knew right away that thing was down. I waited maybe 20 minutes, got down, started tracking.
Yeah, they make a triple blade. They also make a double blade, and since there's less drag, they're even longer.
Yeah, that's insane.
I like your design, though. I think you have like
Grim
the happy
Reaper's
medium.
good. They've been doing it for a long time. Grim Reaper makes great broadheads, man. Mechanical broadheads.
Yeah, I remember. See, we're talking about technology. I remember. I mean, the expanding broadheads are like not even 15 years old.
Yep, very new. And as far as like using crossbows in this state, that's even newer. That might be like 15 years old. I started hunting when I was 10 years old. My dad started taking me up in these double tree stands when I was about 8. And then at 10, you can go do the hunting walk, the test, and you can get your own hunting license at 10 years old. That's when I got it. And
Nice.
back then, you couldn't even use crossbows. They were for handicapped only. The reason, I don't know. Maybe they were trying to discourage hunting at the time, whatever was going on in the current time. But eventually, they just made it for everybody. And now these companies, Browning, Hoyt, Bear, Raven is like the top of the line right now, all stepped up their game like crazy because now they're legal everywhere. And Raven makes it insane. They're shooting 500 feet per second now, dude, these crossbows.
That's amazing.
Ridiculous.
That's amazing. There's bullets that go that fast and pass completely through people. And there's bullets. This is a long story, but Bruce Lee had a son that was killed on set with an accident.
Wasn't that a blank? Was that like an Alec Baldwin situation? Is that what that was? Was like a blank round or something that went wrong or something?
It's actually super interesting. So they were filming the movie. I watched a whole video about this the other day. It's really cool. And someone brought in they had a real 44 Magnum. I mean, Alec Baldwin, he was obviously using they use real guns on set because they look more real, I guess.
Yeah, right. So
someone brought in 44 Magnum ammunition, and that was against the rules. So they saw that, and one of the producers put it in his car or something like that. And then later, they wanted to get a shot where how you can see the bullets in the cylinder when you look at it from the front of the gun,
right? Yeah.
And they didn't want to put blanks in there because you could tell. So they were like, "We're going to put real bullets in here, but we're going to take the powder out of them." And they did, and they got the ammunition out, and they took the powder out, and they did a good job.
But that primer still explodes, doesn't it?
Yes. So here's what happened: somebody squeezed the trigger and sent that bullet halfway down the barrel. Didn't realize what they did. And then they took the ammunition out of the gun. But that bullet was still sitting in that barrel. So then they had a scene where they loaded it with blanks.
Oh, man.
and they shot it, and unfortunately they killed Bruce Lee's son.
But that blank was enough to not only unwedge that bullet out of the barrel, but also had enough velocity to push that out of the barrel and enough velocity to kill him. That's kind of amazing to me.
Yeah,
I haven't researched
I forget
this
if it
at
was
all,
honestly, it may have been a 45 long Colt revolver. I forget it was 44 Magnum, 45 long.
Yeah,
Colt.
I haven't really researched.
I think it might have been 45 long Colt. Yeah, if you want to look it up.
Yeah, why
but
not?
yeah, but they actually recreated that recently, and they chronographed it and everything. Where they put the gun and they found the exact same gun. I forget it's called. There's a YouTube channel called Lucky Gunner Ammo where they talked about this whole scenario, and that's where I learned it. And they recreated the same scenario, same gun, sent the bullet down the barrel, put a blank behind it, shot it, chronographed it, shot it at ballistics gel. It was traveling at I think around 550 feet per second, and
Wow.
it penetrated more than 16 inches of ballistics gelatin.
That's ridiculous. Here it says here, Paul. I guess Brandon Lee is
Yes.
Bruce Lee's son name. It was killed by a 44 caliber slug.
Yeah, 44 Magnum.
So that's what it. Yeah, of course, in a news article, they're just gonna say 44 caliber. So, but yeah, so you're
It's
right there.
probably 44 Magnum.
Yep.
You know, I hear that stuff because I know most people have our same like knowledge base of firearms. You know, so most people don't probably even know what a 44 is. But I hear that and it's like,
that's all you
okay,
need to know. It's a bullet.
Like
and it
44
hurts.
Magnum, 44 Special. What are we talking about?
You got to get all into it. Yeah. Yeah, man. But that's crazy stuff, dude. Yeah, this Alec Baldwin situation's insane. You know.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Nothing's gonna happen to him. Nothing. He's not gonna go to prison. He's not gonna. We accidentally do something like that, we're in jail. But you know.
Yeah.
Practice gun safety. Whoever's responsible for that should definitely be held liable.
I'm also not a multi-millionaire that I can have like famous like lawyers like defend me.
Yep, absolutely.
Is the thing. So he also has that, you know.
Yeah. But no, something.
And he, you know, I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but I'm sure he didn't mean to kill him.
No.
I'm not saying whether he should go to jail or not, but
yeah.
I'm just saying I don't know the whole story. But I do know I'm sure he didn't mean to kill anybody.
No.
I mean,
it's just crazy how often this is happening, though. I mean, it's not every day, but this has happened plenty of times where it's like we need to figure something else out for prop guns, for movies, for everything. I mean, this is like this is on the news pretty frequently. I mean, I don't know. Something needs to happen with that.
Yeah,
I got to go back to like pop cap guns, like when we were kids or something.
Guns,
airsoft.
I'll say this. Yeah. Just, can you imagine a Western with, and they're holding the reel of caps?
Yeah, they got CGI. I'll just use Nerf guns and they can edit it in later.
They'll edit in like an M60 in a Western, an old Western.
People don't have to die to make movies anymore. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy, man.
Yeah, just let it all be like laser, like pistols, like in Guardians of the Galaxy or something.
Yeah, we'll go back to Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, they're making a Buzz Lightyear movie. Did you hear about that?
No, are you serious? I used to love this as a kid, dude. Buzz Lightyear was like,
dude, they're making
jam,
a whole.
man.
Pixar's making a whole insane CG movie.
What? Really?
Yes.
I gotta look this up. See what? Like what is it gonna be? Like when you say CG?
It looks amazing, like a Pixar movie.
Here it is, 2022 film.
It does.
Get the hell
might be
out of
Disney.
here. 22. Yeah, animation, fantasy. Here it is, Buzz Lightyear overview. Oh, they have the cast list here.
It's a whole like 2.5 minute trailer.
Chris Evans is in it.
Yeah. And they're making a Super Mario movie, but I'm pretty sure you already knew that.
Yeah, that one I know. That one's.
But the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Pratt. Who's playing Mario? Is it Chris Pratt? Who is it?
It might be.
I think it is him. Look. Yeah, him. He's doing the Mario movie. That's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be crazy to hear. I mean, you know, when you say doing the movie, he's just gonna be the voice actor. But I don't know. Hopefully, he nails it. But yeah, I didn't know about that Buzz Lightyear movie though. It's gonna be pretty good. I used to watch that like crazy as a kid, man. I thought he was he was like my hero.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Buzz Lightyear's the man.
What do you mean you watch Buzz Lightyear? Like they had a show, right?
Yeah, they had the show, and you remember the cartoon. Then they did a cartoon movie against Zurg.
I saw that.
Yeah, really.
In
really
the trailer, they kind of act like they're about to show Zurg, and the door's open, and there's like this red seam on the door.
Dude, me and my buddy Josiah, shout out to Josiah Peace, we used to like get red Sharpies from my mom and draw the laser on top of our wrists. Run around the house. I mean, I was like a huge Buzz Lightyear guy as a kid. I thought he was like the coolest, man.
I
can't
Disney's
believe I know
fulfilling
about this,
your childhood dreams.
Yeah, I didn't know.
If only they didn't hate guns.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, they're getting pulled out everywhere. Here's the problem. Like, you really, all states, let's just say the whole entire country, you really need to be able to have a gun on you, not just own a gun. It's not good enough. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, right? You can put gun-free zone outside all the schools, on your houses. It's they're gonna walk criminals, psychopaths, serial killers. They're gonna walk right past these signs every single time. And you could also restrict gun laws like crazy. Take away firearms across the country. Get the National Guard. You know what I mean? And just come to every house and take every firearm in the country. It doesn't matter because criminals don't obey laws. So you could make gun laws as strict as you possibly can, just on that fine line of infringing on the Second Amendment, which kind of feels like they're doing anyway. And it won't change anything because criminals don't follow laws. New laws won't change a thing.
To simplify everything you just said, signs and laws don't stop evil.
When have they ever listened to a law they wouldn't have in the first place? I mean,
they do listen to 10 millimeter though.
Yeah.
They love to listen to 10 millimeter.
That's the thing. If you just had, I'm not saying give every teacher a gun in the school, right? Because that's not what they signed up for. I understand that, but you might want to just ask
if they want to.
That's what I'm saying. You might want to at least just ask for volunteers. Hey, is anyone here willing to, just carry a gun, go to a training course every couple weeks? You know what I mean? Paid, come in on a Saturday for 2 hours to the range. Make sure they're competent. Maybe the students can be aware, or you got to start, pulling from the taxpayer, and you got to have a police officer outside every school.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay for that.
Exactly. So that's your other option. The one option we don't have is letting school shootings continue to happen. We don't have that option. And putting signs on buildings isn't going to do anything. Locking doors is a small step. But it's
unfortunately, it doesn't seem like evil's going to stop as much as Democrats
and I think it's good we run drills in the classrooms. Like, God forbid if this shooter happens. But
I remember we had that where I went to. They had it was called a code.
They've been doing it for a long time, 20
where I
plus
went
years.
To school. Yeah.
But I saw on Dave Chappelle's one of his Netflix specials. I was listening to it while I was going to work the other day. He makes a good point. He's like,
"Oh, you listened to the whole thing?"
Yeah. He's like, those school shooters are in that class listening to that drill. Those future school shooters, the kids that are going to be those school shooters, a lot of times it's people inside the schools, right? It's not just some random guy.
I remember him saying that.
He's like, he's probably in there taking notes.
I remember. I mean, I guess he's not wrong.
It's touchy humor, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean? So
he's got a point. That stuff that he says, like he's comic like a lot of the time, but like he's like, wow, that's hilarious, and it makes sense.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel
he's a
him
genius.
in the worst
He
way,
is
man.
really good. Yeah,
they want to cancel him more than anybody right now.
Oh,
they are
yeah.
after his ass, dude, big time. Yeah,
they are. I did hear about that. It's a shame.
His newest
the left
was
can't
really...
even can't even take a joke anymore. I mean, he's a comedian.
Yeah, that's
the problem. The title of
I
his
saw
job,
something
right?
the other day. It said we're holding comedians to higher standards than our politicians with what they say. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
because like Biden or somebody could say something really racist, maybe on accident.
Didn't he say something like really crazy the other day that I don't want to repeat like on microphone?
Yeah, he said that. He obviously called African Americans that horrible word.
Yeah,
and just
not
literally
not the N-I word.
No,
the N-E word.
Yeah, he just straight up said that, like just slipped, and nobody said a word. Nobody cared. Covered up. No problem. Now, if you can imagine Trump or just anybody else.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if Trump said that? Oh my gosh.
He'd be terminated. He would have been, he would have been thrown out of office.
I think it's going to get
crazy.
worse. I mean, the guy is just not. He's sick, dude. He's
honestly,
sick.
Paul, I feel bad for him. I feel
bad for him.
He should be sitting home, and this is me as a conservative saying this.
This isn't good for him.
He should be sitting home with his family, enjoying probably his final years. I hate to wish that on anybody. I don't wish death on him or anything.
Not having the huge burden of being president of the United States.
He can't. You're not mentally fit, man. Didn't he? I mean, this isn't confirmed, right? But he basically, at this point, it's said to be true. He crapped himself on stage, and they don't have proof of this. But remember, they cut the live stream from when he was giving
I didn't
an address.
see that video.
Yeah, so it was live. Was it CNN? Wherever it was playing, and they just cut it, and they were trying to figure out, and a lot of people that were there, that's what they said happened. And again, I'm not saying that to mock the guy, but he should not be in office. It's not fair to him. He should be living out his final years with his family. They forced him into this position. Like, that's the best they have, And now he has like the lowest approval rating in history now. I saw him down at 38% the other day. I think he's back up actually.
Hey, you know what? That's good for us though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good for the country. Maybe things will swing the other way. I mean, I'm not just trying to. Here's the problem. People get so into their politicians. I have to check myself with this sometimes. I have good
Yeah,
friends that do this, but I can't just be so into Trump that I want to call it this side to win no matter what.
I mean,
I want the country to do better. Really, is what I
yeah,
want.
if he won again, I mean, it would cause such like insanity like throughout the streets, like way
So
worse.
as of October 31st, he's at 42%. He's polling at 42% on NBC. I've seen this at 38%. When he hit that, he hit the lowest.
I don't know.
in history.
That's a liberal news station though. Like
Right. Well, that even speaks for it more. Then that's a liberal news station has him at 42%.
and they
I'm just saying
it might be lower than that.
He's at the lowest, and I saw at one point he was the lowest in history. I think it was 38.
I just want to say, because I know Chris has said this multiple times. I don't know if he's going to listen to Chris Castillo, our friend, that he's the one that actually brought it to our attention. I had no idea that there's drugs out there for people with dementia or Alzheimer's. If you remember, he said that one of the side effects is it makes you have to go to the bathroom. So and his
I think
words,
more specifically, it was like looser bowel control. Like you just can't help.
Whatever. You're more likely to poop yourself, however you want to put it.
However you want to spin it, yeah. Yeah, which is what happened.
So one of the side effects is that. So and they're probably giving him that.
Sure.
Right before he's meeting these famous people like the
Absolutely.
Pope. So every time he meets somebody famous, he's going to poop himself. It's I don't know. Just wait for the next time he meets like Putin or something, and he's going to be Putin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you Google it, it just says conspiracy theorist claim Biden soiled himself is the headline. Biden pooped his pants again. Anti-President Joe statement. These are just crazy. Look at this. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can alarm.
Here's another thing. He went toe to toe with Trump in a debate, and
they're already making shirts, dude. Look at this. Biden pooped his pants again. There's all these.
Here's the thing. Here I remember the first time
dinner?
Chris told me this, and a week later he had a debate. He had a debate with Trump, and he was wearing a brown suit. So I already connected that right away.
Okay.
Like, is this why he's wearing a brown suit? He's trying to cover up the poop? I don't know.
Seems a little fishy, man.
It's a little.
Oh, dude, I don't know. It's crazy, but
it's
hopefully
a smelly situation.
Yeah. But yeah, to get back on track for sure. The only thing that's going to stop a bad guy coming into a school, coming into your place of work, coming into a bank with a firearm is another firearm. Now, if I'm a psychopath, a serial killer, and I'm driving by schools looking for one to enter with a firearm and do some serious damage to innocent children, if I pull up and I see a state trooper or a National Guard or I know that those teachers are firearmed, I'm probably not going to go there. The power of deterrence, that's where all the power is right there. 9 times out of 10, you're never even going to have to draw that weapon, probably less likely than that even. I'm not going to walk into that school. So I think we should kind of arm these schools a little bit better. And I think that's super important, man. It's super paramount.
I remember Ben Shapiro mentioned at one point that when he was a kid, he went to an all-Jewish school, and some shooter came up and was going to shoot their school. And when they saw the armed police officer outside, he went to another school and shot that school instead.
You're probably going to keep driving when you see that, right? Even just a police. I know here in Seaside Heights that while school's in session,
trained officer, possibly body armor, trained with their firearm. I mean, it's. Our police officers, not saying like whether or not they should be trained more, but regardless, any cop is going to be pretty good with their gun. Yeah. They're all pretty good. Right. Maybe they should be better.
A lot of them should be better, though.
Yeah.
A lot of them should be better, unfortunately.
Yeah, Joe Rogan says that they should all be purple belts in jiu-jitsu.
Right,
which I've seen. I have seen them like really struggle to detain people, and then I've seen ones that are excellent at jiu-jitsu and roll the guy right over, and
it's so much better
amazing
for the public too, because when you're so much when you're highly trained, you're not going to get as stressed in a situation. I know Nick Meno, for example, right now, if someone came up to him at a bar and started getting really confrontational, talking trash,
I've never seen him fight,
and gotten in his face. If you ever see him at a bar, he's very well collected. He's very calm.
Yes.
Because, as much as that sport humbles you, and it does humble you, he tells me about, there's like this 130-pound kid that's been doing it for a few years, and he will just wipe the floor. And it's very humbling to get pinned by somebody that's maybe less dominant looking than you are. But my point is, he's also has a lot more confidence, and I wouldn't be messing with him. So take Nick Meno as a police officer, and some woman comes at him with a knife or is pushing him. he's going to be a lot more calm, a lot more collected, and he's going to handle that situation a lot better, and he's not going to do something violent where he's kneeling on somebody's neck on the ground. It's going to be better for the public because they're not going to get handled as violently because he's so competent in how he carries himself.
Better trained cops will hurt the other person less.
Right.
I don't know. I really like the idea of pepper spray because it takes away, like, if I ever were to carry a firearm, I would definitely carry the hot sauce.
Right.
Reason being is because then maybe I won't have to use the gun.
You don't need to start with lethal force most of the time unless they have a gun, right?
No.
You don't need to start with a gun. You're escalating it too quickly. You could do, like you said, if you're trained physically, or hand-to-hand combat. What I was about to say here is in Seaside Heights, when school's in session, sometimes I'll get out of work early and I drive by. Their kids are still at school. I've never seen the cop once, but every single day that cop car is parked out front of that school.
Are you talking about the one like right before you turn onto your
Boyd's
street?
School, right here on Bay Boulevard. There's a police car parked right on Bay Boulevard every single day.
I see him all the time. He's a radar in cars, dude.
Yeah, but I've never seen the cop. That car's just out there. But I'm telling you, if I'm driving by, I see a cop car. That's what my point was about the power of deterrence. That alone is going to make me keep driving. So whether it's a cop or a million different things.
That's why people talk about open carry, like open carry is a deterrent. I forget the data for open carry versus concealed carry. I feel like the data supports that you're better off with concealed carry. But, open carry, I'd rather
the element of surprise is probably a little bit better. But I think, again, like you said, the power of deterrence is good to have open carry. I think there's advantages and disadvantages to both.
Yeah, there's a really good YouTube channel. It's really good. It's sad to watch them a lot of the time. It is an educational YouTube channel showing real-life shootings, and they post them all the time. They get caught on camera.
Oh, wow.
Because everything is on camera now. Every cop has a body camera. Every cop car has a camera in it, and then all these businesses that this stupid stuff happens have multiple cameras inside and outside the store. So you have multiple angles on everything. It's amazing how everything's on camera.
It's actually good. Keeps everybody accountable.
Yeah, and what was it? What happened? We're talking about concealed carry. So, someone came into this store, this store in Philly, actually. So it's close by to us, and this store had been robbed multiple times in the past couple months, and the store clerk was ready for it this time. And what happened? The guy came in and pointed a gun at him, and the clerk didn't immediately go for his gun. He was concealed carrying. And the guy turned around to look at something, and that store clerk shot him like 15 times. Yeah, and they didn't even file charges on him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I mean, when you're confronted
he had that element of surprise, is what I'm saying, because he was concealed carry.
Sure, that's great. Yeah, whatever it is, but yeah, that's the only thing that's going to stop, man. You know what I mean? That's super important. I don't know. It shouldn't be a political thing either. They were talking about the safety of kids in schools, people at work, tellers in the bank. It shouldn't be something political. It should be something that's looked at in depth with the numbers and the statistics, which shows that the least shootings happen in states that have some type of carry, whether it's open carry, concealed carry. And the states that have it bad just keep making gun control even tighter. And I don't know, we still got it pretty bad. So
I mean, all these laws really do at this point is kind of criminalize people like us, where in New Jersey, an 11-round magazine will land you in jail for 1 year or $10,000 in fine, or both.
Pretty nuts, just for having 11 rounds instead of 10.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of people in the state of New Jersey are criminals, and I don't think that really helps. I don't think limiting us to 10 rounds really helps. And people throw the argument. Colin Noir, he has a really good argument where he was actually debating some gun control activist or something. Have you ever heard of Colin Noir?
I actually haven't.
I'm pronouncing his name wrong, and I'm really sorry for that for anyone. Colion, I forget how to pronounce his name.
Not Colin?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he had a really good argument where he was debating someone, and the guy was like, "Do you really think anyone needs a high-capacity magazine, like 30 rounds? Like, why isn't 10 rounds enough?" And he said, "Colin,
Colin Wheeler, is that him?
No, his last name is Noir. He's
okay, gotcha.
a black dude. Yeah,
Got
he's an NRA board member, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really cool, super knowledgeable. I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer. Really great guy, but he what was the conversation? The guy was like, "Oh, well, who needs 30-round magazines?" And he said, what happens when the next shooting happens with a 10-round magazine? We're still going to be having this conversation and then you'll limit me to 5 rounds, and then a shooting will happen with a 5-round magazine.
Yep. If you give them an inch, they take miles and miles.
We're going to keep having this conversation until I'm loading one round in my gun at a time.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm kind of on freedom side, and also most people I think are good people that aren't going to shoot you, and the criminals make up such a small percentage of the population that it isn't really right to hurt us. To try to hurt them, and it's not even hurting them. They're still carrying, 30-round mags anyway.
More than anything about all of this, when you talk about gun violence statistics in the United States, what really just pains me is the overwhelming majority of those. I know it's over 50%. I think it might even be closer to 70% or over that are suicides, and those are terrible, right?
Unpreventable.
So they're all suicides.
No, we need to limit our magazines to like 5 rounds to prevent people. But
this is my point. Yeah, is the overwhelming majority is suicides, and they're counted into gun violence or gun deaths. It should. I don't know. It just
the statistics are really skewed. Right, like the left really tries to skew the statistics as much as they can to their side, and they've done this before, especially with firearms.
And sometimes the argument isn't based off statistics at all, because if it was strictly based off numbers and history and states, paths, it wouldn't be this way at all.
Yeah.
But it's more so the agenda. And it shouldn't be an agenda. This is people are dying. This should be something that we all can agree on.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's all feel good legislation. Like I remember you were talking about in New Jersey how deer are completely overpopulated, and because we need to conserve wildlife, we need to not kill them. But it's literally not helpful to kill them. And I think you can explain this better than anyone.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, actually. So this is a huge problem. So deer are extremely overrun in the state of New Jersey right now. There's more deer here now than there was when the Pilgrims were here. I mean, we are insanely overrun. And what's happening is there's so many of them that they're eating every available food source in this state to the point where there's disease, there's extreme starvation amongst the deer, and they're so overrun. I mean, we all know somebody that has hit a deer with their car. We all do. That's not normal.
I hit a deer in my red car.
You did? I've hit one myself, and we all at least...
And it died. It killed it.
Yeah, and you at least know somebody who everybody you talk to has either hit one themselves or knows somebody. That's not normal. We feel that's very normal because that's all we know. It shouldn't be that way. So it's so bad right now.
I hit an adult female deer, and I would have much preferred it if you would have shot it instead of me hitting it and hurting my car
and ate it
or
distributed it to people.
And lived off of it for months.
How fast were you going when you hit that?
Actually, not fast at all. I'm surprised it killed it. It was a full-size deer, and I wasn't going fast. It was dark outside. I was really tired, and the thing would just stand in the middle of the road, and I saw it, and I slammed on my brakes as hard as I could. And the thing was just not moving at all, and I honked my horn at the last possible second, and the thing started spinning around, not knowing which way it wanted to go. Okay. And then I hit it, it went to the ground, and it kind of drug itself to the side of the road. But honestly, dude, I was going like less than 30 miles an hour when I hit the thing. Like, I'm surprised that it killed it. It killed it slowly, though. Like, it went to the side of the road, and it was alive, and I saw it kind of like sitting there.
Staggered a little bit.
Yeah, it's staggered.
The reason I ask you how fast you were going, because deer are amazing animals. I mean, sometimes you could hit these things going 50, 60 miles an hour, and they will get up and run. That doesn't make any sense.
Is that like adrenaline, though, and they'll die
pure adrenaline,
and they'll die later?
But still, even with the most insane adrenaline rush you've ever had in your life, if I hit you even going 40 miles an hour, you're not moving. These deer make no sense, and they'll jump over a 15-foot fence, and they're insane animals.
I've seen the craziest videos. I saw one where some truck hit one, bounced off the truck, and then it went into oncoming traffic and bounced off of somebody again.
So
I don't think that deer got up for that.
No, sure. And of course, not always. That's why I was shocked that it didn't get
some
up.
Tender meat right there.
Because you've seen. But yeah, back to what we were saying. So when you hunt deer in New Jersey, we actually have to hunt them, because by hunting the species, we conserve the species. Because that allows some of the food to grow back. That manages the amount of food per how many deer there is per mile in New Jersey, and you have to hunt them. Otherwise, and like what's even worse than deer dying in car accidents is people dying in car accidents.
Absolutely,
people will swerve to avoid a deer, and then kill themselves and whoever's in the car with them. It's insane. It's horrible. It breaks my heart.
To anyone listening to this, if you're about to hit a deer, please don't swerve and kill yourself. Yeah. Usually, hitting the deer won't throw your car, or you're not going to go into the
track.
You might total your car, but you know what? You won't go into the oncoming lane, kill a van full of kids. Yeah. You won't kill yourself in your van full of kids.
Right. It's so
you're
true, man.
You're just usually better off hitting the deer, and I've kind of kept to that my whole life. That time that I hit that deer that I'm telling you about,
Right.
I did not leave my lane. I've hit animals in
And you're a professional driver. For people who
Yeah.
don't know, this guy, he drives trucks for a living. Class B truck, right? I mean,
It's a
technical roll-off.
it's a triaxle roll off. I have my A license, so I can do tractor trailer. I used to do tractor trailer. I did tractor trailer for like over a year before I just decided to do roll off, because tractor trailer a lot of the time, most of the time, is at some point they'll expect you to drive at night. Didn't want that to do that anymore.
Right. Just to stay on my point of that is, so you're a professional driver for a living, and you recommend that advice.
Yeah,
stay your lane.
Yeah, if I swerve in a tractor trailer to avoid
that's
a deer,
totally different. Yeah.
Can you imagine the damage
The
I could cause? You
collateral
roll
damage.
the truck, you roll on top of somebody, you go into somebody's house.
My gosh.
And dude, if I run over a deer, I'll be fine. I'll just run over it. Probably no real damage to the truck at
But
all.
that is a hard concept to explain to somebody that might not be educated, which most people aren't, right? Hunting is not, deer population. Who really cares? Who's going to take the time to look that up? But for people that don't know, you're actually, for this state and for this species of animal, you're actually conserving them by hunting them. And that's something you could look into without me going on all the numbers here on the computer. It's very important. And also, deer meat. You just had some of those venison sticks,
dude,
huh? How good were they?
I'm gonna be. There might be half as much left by the time you go to check
Pretty
on those
great,
tomorrow.
right? So
amazing.
Venison. What blows my mind about deer meat, obviously also known as venison, is that it's leaner than chicken breast. It's even less fat, and yet it's such a delicious meat. If I went to a restaurant
is wonderful.
and I was choosing between a beef steak or a venison steak, I would probably pick venison. That's how great it tastes, and it's also better for you than chicken breast is. It's very amazing. So when
wild caught game is just so good because it doesn't have any of the preservatives added to it. It doesn't have anything.
It's been grass fed its entire life out in the wild.
It's a happy animal.
It hasn't been touched by any GMOs, any type of It's just so horrible things they do when you get the store bought meat. Now there's some better options, which is you have grass fed options, you have locally raised farmed, but otherwise you're talking about chickens that have had their wings cut off, pumped up with GMOs, so they can't get any exercise. They restrict them. It's a horrible, horrible way to treat animals. So when you talk about hunting, it's so much more humane, and it's a quicker kill. And like I said, I that picture I just put up of my dad and I in Maryland, I had a caption on the Instagram, and it talked about, I said, you really appreciate the animal so much more when you do all the hard work, when you travel, when you train, when you track, and when you just sit out there and brave the elements. You really appreciate and you think about that. I remember exactly what that deer looked like. I think about it frequently. Not only do I eat the deer, I don't waste anything, so I have the shoulder mount right in my bedroom that you know of, and that one deer that I shot and killed fed me for like 6, 7, 8 months.
Do you still have any of that left?
That is gone, but I have a new deer in that freezer right there for my dad. From I think he was a New York hunt trip, but insane. This one here, I know it's in the shot that you see above me. That one was Illinois about this time last year, January of last year. My dad got that. Really awesome story with that.
The skull mount up here?
Yeah, the skull mount there.
I thought you just bought that. I didn't know you actually.
No, I would never do that. That's an 8-pointer there. He shot. That's my dad's. I don't want to take credit for it. He shot that at 112 yards with a crossbow.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Insane. Yeah, so that's actually, I'm sorry, that's the deer that's in the freezer now. I'll give you some of that today. That's great, but that's the best meat you could ever eat. Best for you, best tasting. And what's great is, say you get a deer, you go to the butcher, it might be between $80 and $120.
But it's totally
range.
worth it.
Yeah, and you go there.
You'd be stupid not to spend
and you get whatever you want. Let me get 20 pounds of jerky sticks, 50 pounds of hamburger patties, 80 pounds of chopped meat. I do all chopped meat, and I don't add anything. So what the butcher will ask you is, hey, what do you want to cut it with? You want to cut it with 10% fat. You want to, add some in to make it. I just straight venison, cut with nothing. And I get all ground meat, chopped meat, and I just measure it out, whatever it is, 150 grams in my meals.
When they add fat, it's normally pork fat, isn't it?
Yeah, pork fat they'll do, most of the time. And they could do spicing and stuff. Again, this all adds money, but for 100...
There's such a market for spices, with the sausages and everything, and some of them are so good. They're good.
Insane.
Just off topic, but we're talking about hunting, and we both love ducks.
Absolutely.
They're awesome. I've never been duck hunting, but the animal is just very interesting. What do you think about duck meat? Is it delicious? Right.
So duck's great. I know here at Chino on 37. Shout out to Chino.
Joe
and
shot
Steve over there.
4 of them today.
Oh, okay. Oh, no
That's
kidding. Just
what
today.
that is, yeah.
Mallards, nice. But shout out to Chino on Route 37 there, Stevie there. Best sushi you'll ever have. They have is it a pecking duck? What is that name?
If Steve could sponsor us and we could get sushi,
get some sushi on it,
pay us in sushi.
Yeah, that'd be good. But to my point,
I
that
saw him
duck,
today. Yeah.
Oh, you did? That's right. That duck I had was absolutely delicious. So it might be.
He sells duck there.
Yeah, well, I think the meal is called pecking duck. It's a meal you get there. It's great with wild rice.
It's not sushi though.
No, it's literally just it's a entree. It's a duck meal, and it's amazing.
Okay.
It's got a glaze on it. It's very delicious. So a duck is great.
See, okay, so I have had duck very few times in my life, like 3 times that I can think of.
Oh wow, okay.
But every time I've had it, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, duck
It's
is very
phenomenal.
good. And of course, it's all based around how you prepare it.
Possibly better than
glaze.
venison. No knocking on, not knocking on.
Well,
venison.
yeah, no,
I love it.
It is because you have a little bit more fat there. It's a little bit of a greasier type meat, but it's
Everybody
delicious.
says that, but
Yeah.
the way this is a while ago. I took my dad to moms are always going to Smithville Village.
Yeah,
and there's the Smithville Inn there. Actually, an amazing restaurant. And I had like their roasted braised duck or something like that, and it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, duck's
and
awesome,
they have a really good French onion soup at the Smithville Inn.
Yeah, I'm excited for so January 9th to the 15th. I'm going out in Illinois with my dad. So he did this trip without me last year because of COVID. I wasn't. He was already retired, right? So it didn't matter what he did during COVID. But if I was to go, I'd have to sit home from work for 2 weeks to quarantine just because I left the state, right? This is when it was ridiculous. So I didn't go with him. This year is that same trip, January again. In Illinois.
would they know that you went to that state? Like, how would they know?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to play it safe. I don't want to miss 3 weeks total of work, so I didn't go. But this year, I'm definitely going. Right before I ship out, actually. So I'll be home for like 2 or 3 days, and I'll ship out for the Army. But dude, I'm really excited. So you can't shoot below 150 class deer. So that right there, and what that is, people don't know. So that right there might be a 130 class. They measure the circumference of the antler around. They measure the length of each spike, and they measure across. They do, I forget if it's like 3 to 6 measurements, and that total number will equal if that's a 130 class, 140 class. So that right there is actually a little bit too small for what they let you take. And the reason is they want these deer to grow to be huge, so their whole selling point is look at these massive bucks we have on the property.
Yeah.
So that's actually a little bit small. If you shoot anything under a 150 class buck, they'll fine you $1,000. The only reason they didn't fine him, because that's actually a little bit small, even though it's a great rack, and was because that was 112 yards, and the guy said he's never seen anybody shoot at something over 100 yards with a crossbow. He's impressed, and he kind of waved. I think he was a little bit closer than that. He might have been just a couple points under.
$1,000.
But that's how big these deer are out there. They don't even let you shoot something small.
I mean, how would you know that it's big enough at
that's
range?
What's tough. So what they ask of you is you really have to study up on, they'll give you example racks. They think they have skull mounts in the lodge.
I mean,
and
every rack is a little bit different, though.
Exactly.
It's like a thumbprint.
So if you're close, they're gonna cut you a break, right? But the idea is they don't want you taking young deer. They want them to grow up and be these bruisers.
What about does? As long as they're adults,
does,
it's like whatever.
According to my dad, they have does out there that are like 200 pounds, dude. Does. Insane.
That is a fat girl.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I say that?
Yeah, we're canceled already. Podcast is shut down. Episode 1.
Plus size deer, okay?
Yeah, and every deer is beautiful. So I'm going to keep this podcast from getting shut down. Episode 1 here, man. We got to make sure every deer is beautiful. Nobody cancel us, please. This is the first episode. We got to come out.
That doesn't identify as a buck.
I saw a meme the other day, and it was actually Buzz
as
Lightyear. Funny enough, you know that meme where it's like years of academy training wasted, and he's sitting there with his eyes up in the air. And I saw the meme was like, when you've been taught for years as a kid to say sir and ma'am, and now no one knows what gender they are, and you can't use those terms anymore. And it's true. I grew up like you, very like Christian family, always taught, say yes sir, yes ma'am, and of course going through the fire academy. Now I just say that
I
like
didn't
crazy.
say yes sir, yes ma'am to my parents. Did
no,
you do
no,
that?
no,
Okay,
absolutely
not.
That's
but
to most people, it'd be like say thank you sir. It's just funny that meme kind of rings home a little bit, where it's like now you say that somebody might yell at you, and you're trying to show them the utmost of like it's called undeserved.
But also they're nuts,
respect.
and I'm not really concerned with what they think when they're.
No, it's just it's just crazy how things have turned. You know what I mean? It's really the point there.
Yeah,
but
it has.
Yeah. Hopefully we all kind of get along a little bit better.
Yeah, the next gun I want to get is that I want to be on this table the next time we do this. Is I really want a Kimber K6S, since we're talking 357 magos. I really want a concealed gun, but I also want a revolver. So I think my first carry gun might be a revolver.
You have a lot of things on your little wish list over there. Couple guns, right? How about that
Yeah.
AK? Is that still on the table?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I wanted it, Joe Biden thought it would be a good idea. I mean, he forgets that he ever did this, but he made it. he made
it's so true.
they're going to ban Russian imported steel cased ammunition, which was what made shooting AK so wonderful. Is you could buy it.
Ammo's
You could
so
buy the
cheap, dude.
the ammunition.
Oh my god.
You can still buy it for way less, but it's I forget. I had somebody explain it to me. The way it's going to work is it's going to get more difficult to get it. They're still importing it, but there's like a cutoff date, and at that point, you won't really see much steel-cased ammunition. Well, you will, but it won't be really, really cheap because it won't be coming from Russia anymore. But it still can come from other countries like maybe Romania, Bulgaria, or something like that.
Sure, okay. So there's always ways, but it's just going to be increasingly difficult. Which is
yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully, stuff will get automated enough that I'll just buy some machine, throw the bolts and powder over here like a reloader, but a super sophisticated reloader that it'll know the case, it'll know how much powder,
intelligent reloader,
and it'll just spit out. Can you imagine? You just throw and you just walk away and it does its own thing, and it, like reloads your own ammo for you, like a walk away system.
That was the big problem during COVID, like when this first hit, and everybody not bought up toilet paper and also bought up all the ammo, right? That was right away because people were like, what's going to happen? Is martial law going to come into effect? Are they going to be forcing back? Nobody knew, right? So they bought up a lot of ammo.
I'm sure the left would have loved for that to happen.
And my dad's initial thought was like, you know what? No big deal. I make my own bullets, right? For those of you who don't know, my dad reloads ammunition. So that means he takes the casing, he puts the primer in, he puts the gunpowder in, he puts the bullet on top, seats it, crimps it. But now all the parts, the material even went through the roof, and you could not only went through the roof, Paul, you couldn't get it. You could not just get the brass casings or just the primers or the bullets or the gunpowder. You couldn't get anything. People started reloading during COVID, and all that went out of stock. So we were really like nobody was shooting anything early COVID because we were all afraid we might need the ammo. There's
a really good YouTube channel called Iraq Veteran 8888.
Okay.
And there's a guy on there. His name's Chad. He made a really good point that buy ammo, but sometimes the materials will go down, and you don't have to reload those rounds immediately. But like, say you see gunpowder on sale, rounds are up, but gunpowder's cheaper. Buy the gunpowder. Buy a whole bunch of primers when those go on sale. Buy a bunch of slugs, a bunch of shells, and then once the price of ammo starts going up, you have all these materials lying around that you can make your own ammo.
Right.
I want to share with you the something
what do you
real
got over
something
there? You going away.
Yeah, we've covered most of it. I just wrote some stuff down. Something your dad did the other day. I was so jealous. I was like gritting my teeth. he just sent me this text that he had 15,000 rounds, and this is like a year ago. Like maybe not that long ago, but it was during a time when it was like impossible to find anything at all. Like it was hard to even find. Like you'd have to spend some exuberant amount of money just to pay for some real basic 9mm.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I got 15,000 rounds." Yeah, I mean, okay, Bob.
He's got it stacked up.
Yeah, he is stacked. I wish my dad had 15,000 rounds of ammo and put it to you that way.
Yeah, he's especially being retired. So as you know,
of course that's one of his things. He probably does that like an hour a day.
As you know, that one hunting room was added on, so dug out, pushed under the basement more. Now that whole side of the basement now, not just that room, is all hunting.
Really?
Couches, taxidermy, mounts.
No, I have to see that. We have to go over there.
We'll go over there.
Let's go right now.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll head over there. But no, because he's retired now, so now he's just like pumping out bullets, man. He has so much. He's like,
I remember there was that little crawl, like next to the ping pong table.
Space,
there was that little door. You'd go down that slim hallway, right? And then there was a room down there at the end. But he pushed the gun room all the way back there, is what you're saying.
Dug out under the, so
including the crawl space.
No, the other side of the basement. So that other side is where that reloading table is, and then there's that little hunting room. That unfinished part wasn't the hunting room. He made.
I'm trying to think. So,
so if you walk down the stairs,
the thing that's always been the gun room is still guns in there.
Yes.
Okay, and he pushed the wall
back.
But
that was actually an addition, though. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's new. That wasn't with the house. So you know of that as always being there. That wasn't always there. But now that whole half of the basement is like that. I remember my last year living there was funny. He's like, if this house ever catches on fire, you got to get the hell out of here. He had like pounds and pounds of gunpowder in the basement.
No,
like, this whole block is
everybody says that.
It's really not that explosive, but it's just funny,
Yeah, it would kind of just fizzle. It would definitely add to the fire.
Yeah.
The rounds going off. The Mythbusters, if you remember that show, Mythbusters,
great show,
super cool show. I wish they never stopped doing that. They had this myth where some lady stored ammunition in her oven. I don't know. This story doesn't really sound true.
Ridiculous.
It doesn't sound true. and it all exploded and it like blew up her house or something. And they tested that, and they put a 50 BMG in that oven and turned it on and stood behind like bulletproof glass. And it went off and it cracked the glass. That's the only damage it did. The oven still worked, I think.
You know, I'm not surprised that somebody stored ammo inside an oven. I just want to say
I don't know if that's true.
But because people are that ridiculous. It sounds surprising, but it's not. We had a call with the fire department. I think it was right before summer. It's going back a few months ago.
Can you keep talking? I'm going to be the one that checks on the thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. But we got a call, and I think it said like appliance fire is what it came in as. But we still good? Yeah. All right on.
Yeah, we're over
We're cooking. Wow, just like that. Nothing. Goes quick, man, when you're having fun. But yeah, this woman called in an appliance fire, and we got there, and she put the pizza in the oven still in the box. And like you see everything, man. And so like as much as that like shocks me, like whoa, someone would store live ammo inside.
Were there drugs involved?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
did it look like there were drugs involved? I don't know.
Probably. But dude, it happens. We have crazier things.
Who was the one that got to tell her, ma'am, the pizza's in the box? Who was the one that got to? Let me guess. Not even on a pizza pan.
No. Just threw it in the box.
Pizza box.
I don't know if she was just trying to heat it up or if she left it in there on accident. But what I'm saying is, crazy stuff happens, man. And as surprising as it is, see you checking these out. These pictures are pretty awesome, right?
What pictures?
These three here that I have.
Yeah, I was just kind of trying to move my knee, but it is really cool. I was trying to see if you can see the reflection of anything in his helmet.
Right. This artist does these. He's actually on Amazon, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, so you have the three big, not the only three for sure, but three big staples, moments in history with the American flags involved, right? Obviously here we have Iwo Jima, the Marines raising that flag. We have FDNY raising a flag after the 9/11 attack, and we have the moon landing, which is pretty awesome, man. Three huge moments in time that involved, either posting an American flag or rehoisting it up. Pretty awesome, man. These are heroes, dude. These are people that given everything in the name of either research or of findings like the moon landing, or in the name of military, or even just in the name of rebuilding our country. I mean, these are three huge moments here.
Yeah, as far as research goes, as far as nuclear technology, I know that's one that a lot of people paid the price for.
Oh my god,
really, really bad. Or lead. For a long time, they were coating kids' toys in lead paint.
Insane. We just didn't know.
Yeah,
smoking cigarettes. People just didn't know yet. The consequences.
Those cigarettes had companies had so many lawyers that were
gosh.
swearing that they swear.
Did you see that picture that actually posted
that smoking is not harmful?
That came up recently on Facebook. It was like 8 or 9 guys taking the oath, like top CEO executives.
I didn't see that recently. I saw that years ago, but it wouldn't surprise me if it resurfaced.
That's what it was.
Resurfaced recently.
And swearing that it's not harmful in court. Yep. But yeah, dude, 1969. Well, if you believe in the moon landing, 1969.
Yeah. If you believe in it, yeah.
one small step. I know there's plenty of people that believe the Earth's flat as well, which is pretty mind-boggling. To think when you look in space, you could physically see other planets very well.
I remember seeing
they're not flat.
Online. I remember my dad showed me a website for the Flat Earth Society, and this is so long ago. This is like early 2000s, might have been in the 90s. I still remember
a thing that early, huh?
Yeah, but here's the thing: is neither of us could figure out whether they were serious or not, or if it was a joke site.
That's what I don't know. I think this probably started as like a troll,
maybe.
But I think a lot of people took it seriously and are debating it and claiming everything's Photoshop.
A lot of these people aren't really making any sense that say that it is flat, because they'll say like, I saw this debate where this scientist, this astronomer or something, had a debate with a flat Earth person, and the flat earther would just into every single possible conspiracy theory. So I don't know, not making any sense to anybody.
No, I mean, you could physically see a lot of other not a lot, right? That's I don't want to use that word too liberally, but you could see other planets through telescope for yourself that are all round, all spherical, and we're not the only ones like that.
There's multiple.
We can't be the only flat planet.
There's so much burden of proof for them. I don't know if the Flat Earth Society has like a president or anything, but I would love for someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk to be like, we're going to space.
Yeah.
You're going to see it yourself.
We're bringing you with us.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, to try to. I
But
don't
even
know.
some of
really...
these crazy athletes, I don't know if you call them athletes, but these guys that do these insane jumps, like that actually have to be in an astronaut suit because they're so high in the atmosphere, that just have a GoPro footage, and it runs the whole time. They go all the way up, and they jump, and you could see the Earth. Not that just because the what.
Oh, you're talking about that. I forget his name. That Red Bull guy. Yeah. That jumped off of that high altitude balloon.
And I don't just mean that it's round, because flat earthers will say yes, it is round, but it's also flat. That's not what I'm saying. You could see that it's not only round.
They're
it's
saying
spherical.
it's a circle. It's not a circle. It's a sphere, like a ball. But they're saying it's a disc. Yeah.
But you could see there, even as you come close, like not all the countries are on that one side. So where are the other continents? Where's everything at? So it's not just
on the other side of the disc. Obviously,
oh, dude, I'm sorry. You're right. You know what? Maybe I think I'm a flat earther. Actually,
it makes perfect sense if you think about it.
Yeah, there's cats knocking stuff off the edge of it. Stuff
funny.
Down.
Yeah, that's funny. I never thought knocking stuff off the edge.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's going to happen. There's going to be a big waterfall. You're going to fall right off the edge, man. See, that's what people originally thought, right? That's why people went on these expeditions to see. People were afraid. Hey, you're going to die. You're going to fall off the earth. How far can you get?
I think the theory is that there's icebergs going around the rim that's keeping all the water in, like a puddle,
that's the craziest
like a fish tank
thing I've ever heard.
And so it's conspiracy on tops of conspiracy, like a conspiracy pie, and global warming is going to cause these icebergs to melt, and we're going to lose all the water. It's going to run off the sides and fall into nothing.
Here we go. Flat Earth. The flat Earth model is an archaic conception of Earth's shape as a plane or a disk. Many ancient cultures subscribed to flat Earth, including Greece until the classical period, the Bronze Age and Iron Age civilizations of the New East until the Hellenistic period, and China until the 17th century. Pretty crazy, man, that we're in 2021 and we have all these telescopes, all these different things, technology, satellites in space, and SpaceX is now a thing. Elon Musk is killing it, and it's still like, how do we go backwards? We have all this technology, and people are now believing in things back in like that were almost outruled in the 17th century. Pretty crazy.
We have grown smarter, but we have grown less wise as time has gone on.
I just shared something from Joe Rogan. He said something cool. It's almost like a good example of technology advancing, but dumbing down our day-to-day knowledge is like the simple advancement of having contacts saved in your phone, where you don't have to remember phone numbers anymore. And to add to what he said about that, you want to think as much as you can. It stimulates the brain. It's good for your mind. The fact that you don't have to memorize 10 numbers at a time. So most kids I know, dude, coming out of high school, I don't know if you've talked to anybody, they don't even know their social security. When I was going through MEPS for the Army,
they'll know it when they start applying
for
jobs.
But I'm just saying, it's kind of nuts that we don't even know that anymore. But, the generation before us was able to memorize 20 phone numbers and all this.
I still remember my phone number from my house when I lived in Egg Harbor City.
And I'm not bragging here. I probably know 4 or 5 phone numbers. I'm just saying, I fall victim to this too, but it's because I have the technology as well. So it's just something. It's just an example that as technology gets more extreme, we have to do less work on our end.
We have to do less work, but we can put that work towards something else. So I heard someone make the argument one time that a long time ago this feels like evolution, so I don't know, but the argument was that we had to forage for food ourselves, and we didn't have as much time to socialize. And yes, we became late. I guess we didn't have to do as much after the Industrial Revolution or stuff like that, when you can just buy stuff and there's plenty of food and resources for everyone. But at that point, we were able to socialize, so we gained being able to be social with each other, which is good. Which is good.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking here because you're just talking about that. Just another thing about how we've gotten a little bit softer and how technology's gotten greater with bows and guns and firearms.
Oh yeah, especially in the past.
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
Dude. Look at this trait. I forget the tribe. I'm trying to look. I don't know if it was the Navajo, but this tribe, they would chase white-tailed deer, which are insanely fast, nimble animals. We all know this. They would chase them on foot to the point of where the deer would get exhausted, not the Indian. That's how insane, just
because
mind blowing.
They were trying to survive. They were trying to make their tribe survive.
And that was hunting back then.
In Africa, I've seen tactics where the entire tribe will hunt, and they'll create a border around the animal with spears and slowly close the border around the animal until there's some giraffe has a bunch of spears sticking out of it, and then they eat that giraffe. I wonder how giraffe meat tastes. You know, it's a shame. I wouldn't be able to eat giraffe because I don't want to support.
So I'm like, and it's crazy because some people don't really understand this. As a hunter, I am more against poaching than probably anybody I know. I was sponsored with this company. I still keep in touch with them, but I was like posting about them back when I had like sponsors. Now I've kind of like moved away from that side of social media a little bit. But Soldiers for Wildlife. There's this great guy. He's over there in South Africa, and he trains locals. Shout out to Soldiers for Wildlife on Instagram. He trains locals to be soldiers armed, and they will spend 12 hours a day just walking alongside elephant, walking alongside giraffe armed, and protecting them from poachers. Really awesome. This guy's over there. He trains them almost like it's like paramilitary.
It's really funny you mention that. There's this model on.
I think it's like and look up to it's Soldiers for Wildlife on Instagram. I think there's underscores in between. Awesome page, and they're always posting really cool up close shots of these animals they're protecting. You should never ever kill an animal if you're not going to eat it. That's the definition of poaching. You want to use everything we can. You want to do the mounts even after you eat it. And if you're not going to do the mounts, you should make knives out of the antlers.
Use the resources.
Every part of the animal.
Use the meat. Mount the head. Save the pelt. Keep the skull.
It's almost like spiritual. And you almost get this weird feeling like you're out in the woods all day. You're hunting. It almost brings you back to these like primal instincts that we all have. It's like, why can you... say like young chickens that are born, why can you have chickens out there that have never seen a hawk in their life, never seen anything? You can fly a drone over the top of those chickens and they don't even budge. As soon as a hawk flies over, they all run inside the hen house. How do they know that? Nobody taught them that. They were born. They've never seen one in their lives.
They just have that instinct.
Instincts are awesome, man. It's so cool.
It's interesting. Rarely, animals won't have those instincts. So an example of that is penguins. And some
penguins are awesome, by the way.
Dude, penguin.
Shout out to penguins.
Dude, shout out to penguins. I love them. Penguins are the new ducks. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're great, man. Just waddle around, hang out.
They will just get curious of the human researchers that are there and just waddle over and just like look at them. And there's some really cool pictures online that you can find of these researchers just kind of posing with the penguins because they're just not because they don't have any natural predators over there,
hilarious.
so they don't have those instincts. We were talking about poaching, and there's this is what she looks like.
Okay.
This is the girl. Her name's Kanessa Johnson. I think she more just kind of models now because she's very pretty.
Yeah.
But she was in the Army and she was a diesel mechanic or something like that, and then she got out and she was a firearms instructor and she started training people to stop poachers in Africa to save the animals.
That's really cool.
Yeah, wow. I'd love to meet her someday. I don't know if she's ever going to any of these like gun shows in any of these other states, but I don't know. I'd like to talk to her.
Yeah, poachers,
veteran.
Yeah, they make me more furious than anything. It's just crazy to kill an entire elephant. I mean, an animal of that.
How many people would that feed?
An animal of that multitude, mass, and to just leave that lying out there and just pull the tusks and leave. It's like insane, man. Like people are so evil,
dude.
And
those
so,
tusks are worth like $100,000.
I want to say it like a third time, man. Just like shout out to Soldiers for Wildlife, what this guy's doing. You got to check him out on Instagram. Unbelievable. He literally just gave up his life, moved to Africa, trains locals. It's like a paramilitary camp. You can watch videos them doing push-ups. He uses his experience, and then it's very cool also to follow them on Instagram because they just post these crazy close-up pictures of like lions and elephants, like the ones they're watching. They have names for them. Very cool. Guy's doing a killer job. But yeah, you don't want to take from this earth something you're not going to use.
Yeah, it's way more interesting to use all the materials, which is why I might have a hard time killing. Like I've told you before, I really want to get a wolf mount. I really want the mount. I want the mount, the skull, and the pelt.
What does wolf taste? Can you eat wolf? What does wolf taste like?
I have no idea. I thought you said you couldn't though, which is what I'm going on.
So yeah, you probably Here we go. Many people consider wolf meat to be inedible because lots of people have cemented that rule in their heads. Oh, here we go. And has been passed down through generations. However, wolf meat is in fact edible, and it can be cooked and prepared to be enjoyable. So not only is it,
Wow.
because edible doesn't really take you too far. You hear edible, acorns are edible, right? Doesn't mean they're good. Here it's saying can be cooked and prepared to be enjoyable. So that's something.
That's interesting. I feel like it's tougher.
Yeah.
Like they're way more muscular and they're more an athletic of an animal.
So
I
here's
feel
the
that
follow up to that. What you're asking, it says, "Does wolf meat taste good?" And it
Okay.
says some Japanese mountain people ate wolf meat to give them courage. Accounts on how wolf meat tastes vary greatly, with description ranging from tough, gristly, distasteful, and smelly to somewhat chicken. Tastes like chicken. To very superior.
It probably does taste like chicken, though,
And very superior to lean venison. I'm going to have to take a stance against that with not even having it. But I don't know. It's very controversial, it looks like, to eat wolves. So when you think about eating something, you have to ask yourself, what does that thing eat, right? So when you're talking about deer,
I was
you know
just
what I mean?
about
It's
to mention
eating
that.
corn, it's eating winter wheat, it's eating certain things that are good for you to
I'm
have.
going to guess, don't know that it's true or not, that herbivores taste better than carnivores.
Right, most times. And you're not going to have the risk that's involved. You know what I mean? If they're strictly herbivores, they're not going to have been eating any like infected meat that might be second-handedly, consumed by you, consuming the predator. Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, Arctic wolf, that's going to be a trip. Like I said, I definitely think you should start a little bit
I mean,
smaller.
they're all beautiful. I think the Arctic wolves tend to be bigger. That might not be true, though.
So you'll definitely need one of those sidearms too. God forbid your rifle.
Here,
'cause when they come at you, you're not using a high-powered scoped rifle. You're not going to be able to hit that thing accurately. You're going to have something that's going to be like an 8-time magnified zoom, and if that thing's charging at you from 50 yards, you're going to be wanting to drop that and pull out a sidearm.
Yeah, there are some remedies for that, I guess. There are some manufacturers that you turn the rifle kind of at an angle.
And you have
there's
iron sights or a red dot sight, right?
A red dot right there.
Yeah.
I'll just put a little pistol sight right there.
That's nice.
Or something like that, Or, but if I am going to
still
carry
have a
sidearms, I already have the sidearm I would carry.
Yep.
10 millimeter,
10 millimeter's
and I'm
great
putting,
for that.
I forget what it's called, Lehigh Valley or Underwood.
Maybe hollow points?
No, I would not carry.
No.
I would probably, for woods defense and 10 millimeter, I would probably carry something called extreme penetrators. You can look that up on your computer. Look up extreme penetrator bullets. It looks like a plus sign, but here's the thing: like, if you want penetration in a pistol, you would think that you would only want to shoot Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
But these rounds will go like twice as deep as the Full Metal Jackets.
100 grain.
Underwood. It is Underwood.
140 grain. That's a high grain. Jeez, for 9 millimeter, right?
Oh, it's
140. 140 grain.
That is very heavy.
But
they make. Oh no, that's 10 millimeter. You're looking at.
That is okay. Oh, is that
I
what
thought I saw 10 millimeter there.
Oh yeah, there is 10. It is 10 millimeter. This is just a random example. I just typed in.
Okay, yeah, no, 140 is all right for 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
They do make 150 grain 9 millimeter. So, yeah,
a lot of power.
But you want to talk about like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine how hard that stuff is to find right now. Some of this stuff you just got to pay uber bucks and go on.
I kind of want to get Dragon's Breath for my that little 12 gauge shotgun I got.
You
up
can
there.
get that. You can get that shit. I mean, get it before like Murphy or somebody bans online sales.
It's kind of it's actually legal in Jersey. You just can't shoot it. So you could. Isn't that a crazy law? You could buy Dragon's Breath. For those of you who don't know, Dragon's Breath is basically a flamethrower in a shotgun shell.
It's magnesium pellets. The powder ignites the pellets, and you shoot.
It's a blast of fire, to say it in the dumbed down version.
Yeah.
It's insane. And you could own it in Jersey. You could buy it and keep it in Jersey, but you can't shoot it anywhere.
Here's
range.
What's evil about that is I'm pretty sure, like, if you were to shoot, like, God forbid, a person or an animal with that, it would still be burning inside of whatever you hit it with.
Yeah, you'd want to be really close for a clean kill. I mean, of course, you wouldn't use that for anything, but you, but the caveat with that is that you're basically going to destroy the your barrel of whatever you're shooting.
Oh, really?
Over time, you're going to
okay,
ruin
so
that
don't
gun.
shoot. I mean,
That
luckily shotgun
incendiary-
barrels are pretty cheap.
Super hardy too.
Just shoot it out of your smooth. Don't shoot it out of your rifled bore shotgun.
Yeah.
Like mess up the bore on that. Yeah, don't do that.
But there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, man. A lot of crazy stuff. Hopefully, I'll get to shoot some of that crazy stuff in a few months here.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of exotic rounds for shotgun. If you wanted to get into it, there's also buck and ball, which is a ball with double aught behind it.
Right.
And then
I've seen that.
If you want to do that, people hunt with that. So you got one good center mass shot, and then you have 30 caliber pellets around that. They also make what's it called? Bolo rounds, which are 2 balls with a wire that's like this long.
Yeah. Those are
so
brutal.
the idea is that I think it spins around and then it goes through the animal and creates a channel like this. But they've shot it. I've seen people shoot it at ballistics gel before, and that wire always
It's
snaps.
a little wild looking too.
It is crazy looking. But here's my favorite. Is the Dragon's Breath is pretty cool, but there's another one called Flechettes where they put 20 of these little steel darts inside of a shell.
Ridiculous.
And
It's
those,
more like shrapnel at that point. I mean, just blasting out of
those
the shot.
those darts turn sideways when they hit soft targets. Just so you know.
That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, I'm always going to go with slug. And when you talk about hunting from a shotgun standpoint, that's what's great. If you just want to buy a shotgun, the barrels are super interchangeable. The scopes, you could just remove. I mean, that's the same with any gun. But, yeah, you could just easily have one shotgun, and you could have a bird shot barrel. You could get a slug barrel for deer hunting with a scope, and you're good well over 100 yards with a slug. For shotgun season, that's what you hunt deer with. You hunt, or buckshot.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know that. I think your dad told me one time that 20 gauge slugs are better for hunting than 12 gauge slugs or something. Is that true?
Yeah.
And also, how far away can the deer be?
There's so much science that goes
I'm talking
into it.
like a good gun with bolt action, nice scope. How far away can I touch a deer with a slug?
Yeah, it's that's tough to say, man. But like you said, I know you're good well over 100 yards. With a slug.
At
Slug
least.
moves good, or you go buckshot. They make buckshot too. Obviously, it's in the name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're going to get a little bit less velocity with with buckshot. But yeah, it's all great, man. Whatever gets the job done. You got.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's going to be more than 100 yards if your dad can kill a deer at over 100
absolutely.
yards with a crossbow.
Yeah. I just know for like an accurate slug. Yeah, I mean, it'll of course go further than that. But that's like where I'm comfortable shooting a slug at with my setup, my deer gun right now. But you have all the seasons, right? You have rifle season, which is muzzleloader, rifle season. You have shotgun season, and you have archery season. And if you get all 3 of those and your fishing license, you could have what's called an all sportsman license. It's now one license, and it's your fishing, your rifle, shotgun, and your archery season all in that one. It's called an all sportsman license. You can get even in Jersey. I think it's a little cheaper to do that.
I got to
too.
get my license. Like after I get this new job and I'm off more, I'd love. We should definitely go
all
out
the
sometime.
time. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
The meat's great, and it's good for you. And what's really cool is this guy Roger Hill. He won't see this. He's an older guy, but he is the best outdoorsman all around. I know, fisher, hunter. He hunts so hard and so often in all these different states with all these different tags and permission from different landowners. He gets so much meat. You know what he does? He donates the meat to homeless shelters and stuff like that. So. Some homeless out there is eating better than me because they're eating venison every meal of the day with this guy. Whatever shelter he goes to, I know he goes to it a lot.
There's a guy named Ted Nugent. You might have heard of him.
Yeah, he's great.
He does exactly the same thing. That's why you'll see him like just killing all these animals on his property. He owns like over 100 acres.
Much meat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He donates all of it.
Awesome.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
Another guy I'd love to meet. I don't know if I've told you this, but he's responded to. He's super active on Facebook, so I've actually had comments that I put on his posts that he's responded to either with likes or he's commented back.
Really?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. Yeah, great guy, super knowledgeable guy.
NRA board member. If you're going to debate Ted Nugent, if you're pro gun control and you're going to debate Ted Nugent, it's
you gotta
really don't do that.
Do your homework if you even want to have an argument, but you're not going to win it anyway.
You're not.
But you got to at least show up, know what you're talking
Which is
about.
so funny because these left wing shows used to have him on, and they haven't had him on in a long time, and it's because at one point he Ted Nugent debated Piers Morgan with gun control. Piers Morgan, he used to own a show. I don't know what he's doing now, but he's always been against guns in America, and he's not even American, which is really annoying.
Which is annoying.
Yeah, and they decided to have Ted Nugent on to debate Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan he had nothing left by the end. By the end, he was basically saying, like Ted Nugent would like give him some statistic or some argument or something, and Piers Morgan would just be like, "Well, are you aware that that's not true?" Is basically what he said. He had nothing left by the end. It was terrible, and they never had him on again on that show after that.
I know that's the same for like say Ben Shapiro. He used to be on CNN, not frequently, but he was on CNN here and there.
He
and they just
was
stopped
on
doing
with
that.
Piers Morgan too.
Okay,
Ben Shapiro is better for the argument he's basically an all around great debater. He's not as good with guns as Ted Nugent is.
Right. That's
but
like his specialty.
He's really good with abortion.
But whether you're for or pro anything, or whether you're Democrat or Republican, obviously it's really good to be an extremely good debater. When you go on these huge like platforms like CNN or whatever, and Ben Shapiro is probably the top percentile when you talk about debating or having knowledgeable conversations. And yeah, he was probably on CNN a handful of times, and they never brought him back because he's just you can't debate somebody that knows every statistic, knows every fact.
He
and
has
uses
it all
those for
memorized.
arguments.
He's like a
He
Harvard
says facts
graduate.
don't care about your feelings.
He's a real life Spock, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got a lot of knowledge, man. He's a super smart guy, Harvard graduate. His wife's a doctor. He's, it's insane, as he says.
He's surrounded by intelligent people. He's.
I've never really seen the Daily Wire. That's not something I've really watched a lot of. I've seen like his debates on YouTube, compilations. I've never watched his news platform.
I'm subscribed to him on the podcast app. Him and Matt Walsh. But Andrew Cleve and Candace Owens and
pretty good.
And there's another one. They're all really good. They're very good. Very good. All of them. Honestly though, they're best when they're together. Like normally they here's how it works. They all have their own show. Where Ben Shapiro will just be talking at the microphone like this, and you won't be able to hear anything else except Ben Shapiro for like an hour. But occasionally, because they do all work under the Daily Wire, and they'll all get together. They'll all go to I forget what state they were just in, and they were all together, and they're so good together. They just had another one. It's so exciting to listen to all of them together.
Insane.
But individually, I'm not as interested.
Right. It's always better with a group discussion, Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, the group discussions are definitely better when it's
just more.
Dude, it's more fun. Like me and you, we play video games sometimes. We like it, and there's people online that they'll either record solo and it'll just be them playing and reacting to it. But there are some there's other shows where it'll be two people reacting and playing together, and those are way better. I like
It's better to have the back and forth.
With the back and forth, different perspectives. It definitely better that way. I wouldn't want to just stand here and stare at your camera like this for like an hour and a half or however long we've been doing this now.
Speaking of that, what else you got, man? I think we're pretty much getting to a...
I mean, we were talking about technology, and I just wanted to all the technology that's coming out, like science, and probably the most exciting thing that's happening right now. I've been following it for years and years and years. So you sent me a post the other day, and I'm already aware of all that, and it's amazing that you sent that. I don't know if that's the first time that you kind of realized
it's just something
that.
I saw, and I was like, I know he likes this. It's just a size comparison of all the planets. So it's Earth compared to the Moon, then compared to Mars, and then the Sun, and they keep going out to these other planets. I guess Pluto's not a planet anymore, but they keep going out and zooming out, and then it's showing that it's all inside this one galaxy. And then all these other stars we see are actually, some of those are other galaxy. And like space is almost hurts your head a little bit to try to even, because we can't even understand infinity. We don't even know what that is. It's so, it's such a headache, man. Yeah. Amazing though,
and our God is bigger, which is a great thing as well.
That.
Yeah,
it's just
bigger than that.
Space is mind blowing, and who knows what's out there.
But there's the science project that I'm talking about that they've been doing years. It's taken billions of dollars. Canada is involved, but it's called the JWST, which stands for James Webb Space Telescope. So that telescope that took that photo that you're talking about, that was Hubble. I think we launched it up there in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's old.
It's been up there.
It has a replacement that is on the way called the James Webb Space Telescope. It's this giant golden dish. It doesn't even have lenses on it. It looks ridiculous. You can look up James Webb's or JWST on your computer, and you'll see it unfolds. It goes around the Earth, but it's way farther away from the Earth than Hubble. It's really interesting.
So I have it here as December 18th for the launch date. I don't know if this is.
Oh, this year?
Is that? I mean, that looks correct.
Oh,
right?
my gosh. They're about to do it?
Yeah, that's the launch date.
Oh, that's so exciting. Please, rocket, don't blow up.
Yeah,
dude, you don't understand. It's taken them many years to build this.
Yeah, you said you've been researching. So this is just a quick Wikipedia blurb that shows up. The James Webb Space Telescope is a space telescope being jointly developed by NASA, the European Space Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency, like
Canada,
you said, is planned to succeed the Hubble Space Launch National's flagship. Yeah, so right now they have the launch date for December 18th, 2021, and who knows what we're going to be able to see from that. That's going to be incredible. Yeah, that thing's been up there for a long time.
Hubble's
it's
been
about
up there.
time to replace that.
Yeah, it has been upgraded. I think there have been like astronauts up there that have like tinkered with it, maybe put new parts on. I don't think it's the same parts.
Yeah,
maintenance on it. But it's really interesting because it's going to be able to see farther. And as you see farther back in time because you're seeing the light from stars that were
right.
farther
So people
away.
don't really remember. And
yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Your light has a speed. We all know this.
Yeah,
Sound has a speed. How about those air shows when we were as a kid on the beach? A jet would fly by. It would be nothing for 3 seconds, and then the sound wave would hit you. Crazy because they were traveling at that speed. So light has a speed. We only see. I can only see you. Because light is hitting you. You can't see pitch black, right? So the speed of which that
you're seeing the light
light
that's reflecting off of me. And also you're
Exactly.
seeing me back in time.
Right. Right
it's
now.
taking a split second for the light from me to get to your eyes.
Exactly. So the light off that tripod stand that's hitting you, I'm only seeing you at the speed. So some stars that we're looking at in space right now aren't even there anymore. Because there's
a website that you can go to. I forget what it's called, but you can put in your birthday, and it'll show you the stars that are shining on on the Earth now from that time period or something like that.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
you're seeing the way the stars. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm confusing myself.
No, it's that in depth. It's fascinating.
It'll make your head
Space
hurt.
is probably one of the most fascinating things you can look into. It's the most incredible thing we know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Great
unbelievable.
unknown. Something.
I mean, the Earth. We're still. I mean, there's depths of the ocean we still haven't been to. There's still some stuff on Earth left, but really, it's like. Yeah. Have you seen that movie, The Meg, with Jason Statham? It just came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
About
more.
the shark, about Megalodon?
The Megalodon, yeah. That's the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the lowest point known to the Earth, known to man, was actually a subthermal layer that you could actually push through to a new depth we could find, and that's where this Megalodon was sitting at. Because they pushed through that thermal sublayer, they created that hole with the sub, and now it was able to come up into the waters we know in the Mariana Trench and terrorize everybody.
It's gonna eat an aircraft carrier.
Yeah. Well, it was corny, but I love those stupid corny movies, man. Baywatch, Megalodon.
Yeah, whatever.
It's all funny. It's just entertainment. You can't look at it from a Rotten Tomato standpoint. It's just fun to watch.
You know how shark teeth just preserve excellently in salt water, and they just have them, and I don't know how
which
the
is
method
crazy because salt water breaks down most things. So
yes.
for that to be preserving, it's kind of crazy.
Yes, but they still have like these prehistoric shark tooths that are bigger and heavier than this gun.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's just wild, man.
You could buy them. They're like $400 on eBay. But it's like, oh, yeah, buy a Megalodon shark tooth. They had one at one of the festivals here at Seaside.
Oh, that's right. We looked at that. Yeah, totally forgot about that.
I think it might have been a fake one.
Oh, I'm sure it was a replica. If not, it was going to be $1,000. I mean, those things.
I think it depends on the size. Has a big part of it. But imagine that's like a prehistoric, basically, specimen.
Yep.
And they're still around. Like the salt water hasn't destroyed them in that much time.
100%.
Yeah, very interesting. For anyone that would want to kind of understand the scale of the universe, there's a website. It's some interactive kind of like video or something like that. You can look it up. Type in "Scale of the Universe 2" on your computer, see if you can find it, and it'll really put in perspective how small we really are. It'll show you everything bigger that we know of and everything smaller that we know of.
It's like a launch
than a
tool
human.
here, yeah. From science.
Yeah, you can zoom in or out. You can zoom out until you can see like multiple galaxies, superclusters, stuff like that.
Right. Also looks like
and
YouTube has videos.
And you can zoom in on like cells and atoms and quarks.
Yeah,
and it explains it all.
Yeah,
really cool.
Awesome. And also on YouTube, yeah, it looks like that same site has videos on YouTube that just do that, and you could just sit there and watch it.
Really interesting people that create that stuff. I love the educational videos. Another great educational source video is one of probably my favorite YouTubers called Kurzgesagt, where he just takes scientific principles and explains them simply with clever animation. Really interesting.
It's great, man. It's all mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, what are we doing? We wrapping this up?
I think we're wrapping this up. Since you haven't heard about the Buzz Lightyear trailer, I think we should watch that on your big TV.
We're gonna have to
do
go
that right now
and watch Buzz Lightyear. That's getting me pretty amped up. So